Well, welcome to the Friday story of our lives together. I keep forgetting our name.
It's okay.
It's just like us. This is just like
Something like that.
something like us.
It's that Friday thing.
This is us. So the idea that I came up with today was my idea.
Yes, it was your idea, John. Every good idea
It's
is
a good
John's
idea. You know, that's the rule here. If it's a good idea, it's got to be my idea. So I thought we would talk about belly dancing, and I just want to introduce it because this is really Maria's thing. Because I remember.
So why do you want to talk about belly dancing?
Well, I remember the night we went. A friend invited us to a belly dancing performance in Bennington, and we both were just knocked off by it. I was amazed by it. It wasn't anything I thought it was going to be. You know, people talk about belly dancing as like women want to be sexy for men. Not true. And this group of really strong, interesting women had this dance, which was really about affirmation for women and independence for women, and women getting comfortable with who they are and how they look. And I was very impressed by it. Maria was really impressed, and she joined. Now, this amazed me. I mean, I'm not sure I saw Maria's belly the first 5 or 6 years of our marriage. And she performs. You know, it's not easy for her anyway. She can talk about that. But I was just very impressed by it. And
you got it right away.
I got it right away. To me, it was the beginning of the birth of the new Maria. She was really coming into being. She loved it. It was really who she is. And it really was great for her. It is great for her still. And 8 or 9 years later, she still loves it. She still does it. She works hard at it. And I continue to be amazed by how it enabled her to come out as the person she really is. So I just want to introduce that as to why we're both so comfortable talking about it. I don't get to see it very often, but when I do, I'm very impressed by it, that she's come a long way, and it's been so good for her. So at that introduction, I think I will turn it over to her for a bit and let her explain it herself.
Well, when we went to that performance, and I saw that performance, the thing that really got me was the attitude of the women dancing. I was just like, they just had this confidence and this sense of themselves, and it was like this great, you know, I'm great, you know, kind of attitude. That's what it was. It's like, I'm great. Look at me, aren't I? You know, I'm worth looking at. And if you don't want to look at me, then I don't care. I'm still going to dance, and I'm still worth it. You know, it was that kind of attitude. And I thought, I want that. You know, I've never been able to dance. I'm a terrible dancer. I could never clap to the beat. When I first started class, I couldn't step to the beat. I mean, it was embarrassing how bad I was. And if it wasn't for Jules, my teacher Jules, who was so patient with me, I definitely would not have stayed, because those first 6 years were really difficult. I'm just now starting to feel like, okay, I can do this. You know, I really I can dance, and it's constantly. I mean, I'm constantly learning. I think that's one of the things I really love about it too, is that I'm constantly learning. Every time I go to class, I learn something I didn't know about. There's like a set amount of moves, and I never. Does anyone ever get them right? Some people do, yes. Will I ever get them right? No, I'm not going to live long enough, you know, because I started this late in the game. So, but every time I go to class, I learn something new. So it's like good in so many ways, you know. It's like just good in so many ways.
I have a cold, excuse me.
Yeah, so it's the type of thing I think for many of you who have read about what I've written about it, the type of dance that we do is not choreographed. So we're constantly changing the lead, and we all follow the lead, and we don't know what they're going to do. So you have to really pay attention. And just yesterday, for the first time in class, I danced balancing a sword on my head. And John said, "Why would you want to do that?"
And she said, "Oh, it only dropped once." Like,
it only dropped once.
If I did that, I'd have my leg chopped off in like an hour.
Well, they're not, you know, they don't have a sharp blade.
Yeah, but if they fell on your toe, that would not be good.
They're heavy, and yes, they're, you know, they're like this big. You bounce it on your head.
And I still don't know why she did it.
Well, one of the things that Callie, who I dance with, one of the women I dance with, who was dancing with me last night, she said, "Well, it's just so cool. Who doesn't want to dance with a sword on their head?" You know,
I don't.
To her,
I don't.
It's not a question, but it does. It helps you. It really helps with posture. It helps with doing the moves more, you know, makes you do the moves very slowly and really pay attention. And you have to pay attention. The one time I dropped it is when I was actually just walking with it on my head. I wasn't dancing, I was just walking. And the reason I dropped it is because I wasn't paying attention. I thought, well, I'm just walking, I don't have to pay attention. And that's when the thing fell off my head and luckily didn't hit my foot or anybody else's foot. But it's, you know, it really makes you pay attention. I mean, that's one of the things about the dance too, is it's like a, you know, hour-long meditation. You really have to pay attention. Otherwise, you know, you're just going to screw up.
What I learned right away was I thought, oh, so this is who Maria really is.
I know you always said that, you always got it. And
Yeah,
I'm still like, I don't know what that means. I'm not really
Every
a
time
belly
you learn
dancer.
something, though, you grow a bit and you come out a bit. And you know, you can be anxious about things, including belly dancing.
Yes.
And about performing and, you know, blah, blah, blah. You don't love to do that. So this was incredibly courageous of you. And every time you did it, I could see you became stronger and more confident and more together.
Well, and that's, you know, that's like what I was looking for.
And I got to see your belly.
And you get well, the interesting part, this is like this type of, which is called ATS, American Tribal something, I can't remember what's the last word. Anyway, it was started in California in the 80s, and it's a conglomeration of different moves that they came up with. But one of the ideas is that you cover your hair, which we really don't do anymore, and you cover your legs. And so it's not about, you know, it's not about doing this for men. It's not about showing your legs or showing your, you know, your hair and stuff. Your belly is showing because that's where a lot of the moves take place. And if you can't see that part of your body, you're going to miss a lot of what's going on there. But yeah, it's and I hadn't shown my stomach to anyone in years and years. I mean, since I was a little kid, you know, and wore a bikini, you know.
It's a very nice stomach, really. It's a very nice
very
stomach.
Sweet of you. But it did. That took even that. You know, and it's just like, it's true. It's like a coming out. It's like, I want to be this person. I want to be like
It's been very, very good for you. I can see that. And you love it even now. You often came back and said, oh, I can't do that, and blah, blah, blah. But you always do. And they love you there. And they're praising you all the time.
That's the other part of it, is that the group of us, we depend on each other. You know, it's become like a little family, because we really need each other to dance. And so we really, we're there for each other. We're there for each other in the dance, but we're there for each other emotionally too, when times.
And I admire you. This is the difference between men and women. Men would hardly ever do a thing like that and form that kind of community and watch out for each other. And women do it. And this was a real big challenge for you. This is not something like you've ever done anything like it in your life.
No, I never could do
it.
And
you were terrified when you started it.
Yeah.
But you hung in there. You never wavered. You never not wanted to be there. You always looked forward to going.
Yeah.
And every time you come home, you always had a great time. Oh, it was great. It was great. I learned something.
I always learned something.
So I think that's great.
I always learned something. Last night, one of the things I learned was this one move that's called the rainbow, right? And so you go like this, and you go over your head like this, and then like that. And I was not lifting my arm up high enough. And somebody, I can't remember, maybe it was Kathleen, said, you want to reach the top of the rainbow. And I was like, oh, I was always going like this because I was going under the rainbow. And it's like, oh, you have to go over the rainbow. And someone gives you a clue like that. And it's like, oh, over the rainbow. I can see that. And then, you know, then I do it right. And that's like after 8 years of doing it wrong, you know.
And sometimes Maria's practiced at home and rehearsed at home, and it's beautiful. She's incredible how far she's come and how natural it looks.
Well, you're very supportive of it. John's really, really supportive of it, and that's really sweet. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, it's nice.
So that's great.
Makes it better.
We're a little bit running into time. I wanted to say one other thing, if I may.
You may.
About your pillows. So Maria has touched on this amazing thing about holding pillows, which would be good for people during these kind of a little bit tense times. And I got one. I begged for one. I rarely get her one of her art. And she's selling them like crazy. People are ordering them from all over the place. And it's really a beautiful thing that you take creative art and find a way to use it to really comfort people. because the idea of holding something, when I meditate now, I always want to hold it because it goes back to an earlier time where holding was very important to a small child. So it's really an interesting thing, and I commend you again. That's a very
I think
innovative.
next time we should talk about creativity.
Okay, well, we always talk about creativity.
I know, but I think we should focus on
The
it.
belly dancing is about creativity.
It's true. It's true.
So anyway, I think we're out of time, but
are
I
out of
wanted
time.
to share that with you. It's great to talk about belly dancing, and we'll be back next Friday with more insights into our own lives.
If you can stand
Because
to
otherwise
hear
we
it.
can't figure them out. So anyway, thank you for you joining us, and thank you for explaining that, Maria.
Sure, John. Thanks for
I'm
asking.
a big fan of belly dancing. I wish there was something like that for men, but I wouldn't do it. I don't think it'd be pretty. All right, have a great weekend. We'll see you and take
Men
care.
have sports. Men have sports.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
never had sports.
I know.
Goodbye.
Bye.